Hello and welcome to Fluent English Journey. I'm really happy that you're here today. In this episode, we are going to learn some powerful lessons about success from people who lived a very long time ago, the ancient philosophers. You might ask, why should I learn from people who lived thousands of years ago? That's a great question. The world today is full of new technology, new jobs, and fast changes. But even with all these changes, the problems we face are often the same as before. We still feel stuck sometimes. We still face failure or setbacks. We still ask ourselves, what does success really mean? These are not new questions. People have been thinking about them for centuries. Ancient philosophers like Socrates, Aristotle, Confucius, and Marcus Aurelius all asked deep questions about how to live a good life and how to be truly happy. Their ideas can help us today, even in our modern world. They can help us understand ourselves better, stay calm when life is hard, and find motivation to keep growing. So in this episode, I want to invite you to take a journey with me. A journey not just through history, but also into your own mind and heart. Let's start with a very important question. Backhand index pointing out, what does success mean to you? For some people, success means earning a lot of money. For others, it means feeling happy or peaceful every day. Some people think success is about being wise or having strong relationships with friends and family. There is no one answer that is true for everyone. Success is personal. It can mean different things to different people. And that's actually a beautiful thing, because it means you get to decide what success looks like in your own life. Now, let's think a little deeper. What really drives you? What gives you the energy to keep going when life feels hard? Have you ever felt lost or afraid to take the first step toward your goals? If you have, don't worry, you're not alone. Every human being has felt that way, even the great thinkers of the past. Ancient philosophers didn't just give advice like, be positive or work hard. They taught ways to change how we think, how we see ourselves, and how we respond to challenges. Their lessons are like tools that help us build a stronger mind and a more peaceful heart. In this episode, I'll share with you some of the most powerful lessons from these wise thinkers. We'll talk about why your mindset matters more than your situation, why consistency is more powerful than perfection, how knowing yourself can become your greatest strength, why community and relationships play a big role in real success, and how to accept change without fear. These are not quick or easy fixes. They are life lessons, ideas to live by, think about, and practice every day. If you take small steps to apply them, they can slowly transform how you live and how you see yourself. By the end of this episode, I hope you'll feel inspired to create your own philosophy of success, one that fits who you are and what truly matters to you. So, get comfortable, take a deep breath, and let's begin this journey together. What stops you from starting? Before we go deeper, ask yourself, what is stopping you from starting your journey towards success? Is it fear of failure? Is it self-doubt? Or maybe you just don't know where to begin. Remember, every big journey starts with one small step. What small step could you take today toward a better mindset and a fuller life? Think about that as we move forward. What does success really mean? Now, let's explore this question more deeply. What does success really mean? At first, the answer might seem simple. Many people think success means being rich, having a big house, a fancy car, or expensive clothes. In movies and on social media, we often see successful people living this kind of life. It can look very attractive. And yes, money can make life more comfortable. It gives us freedom to do many things. But is money alone enough to make us feel truly happy inside? Not always. Some people have everything: money, fame, luxury, but still feel empty or unhappy. So success cannot be only about money. Another way to think about success is through happiness. Many people say that true success means being happy with your life. It could mean enjoying small moments, having coffee with a friend, feeling peaceful in the morning, or doing work you love. It could mean feeling proud of who you are, even if you don't have everything you want yet. When you see success this way, it becomes more about inner peace than outer results. It's not about showing others how great you are. It's about feeling calm, grateful, and alive inside. So, as we continue this journey together, remember this. Success is not one destination. It's not one final goal. It's a journey of learning, growing, and discovering what truly matters to you. Take your time, be kind to yourself, and keep walking forward, one small step at a time. Happiness and success. Happiness can come from very simple things, spending time with your family and friends, doing work that you love, or even taking a quiet walk outside on a sunny day. But happiness is not only about feeling good or having fun all the time. Real happiness also means feeling satisfied, peaceful, and proud of yourself, even when life is not easy. Have you ever felt happy after finishing a difficult project? Or after helping someone who needed support? Moments like these show a different kind of success, not success as a goal or a number, but success as a feeling. It is the feeling of doing something meaningful, something that makes you grow. Wisdom as success. Success can also mean wisdom. This is an idea that comes from the ancient philosophers. They believed that real success is not about what you own, it's about knowing how to live well. Wisdom means understanding life's challenges, making good decisions, and learning from your mistakes. When you are wise, you do not just copy what other people say or do. You think for yourself. You find your own path. Wisdom also helps you stay calm when things go wrong. It gives you the strength to move forward when life is difficult. So in this way, success is not about what you have, but about what you have learned and how you grow as a person. Different meanings of success. These different ideas, success as wealth, as happiness, and as wisdom, are all important. But here is the most important thing to remember. Backhand index pointing at success means different things to different people. What feels like success for one person might not be the same for someone else. For example, in some cultures, success means supporting your family, helping your community, and living with kindness. In other cultures, success might mean achieving personal goals or becoming the best in your field. This is why it's so important to think about success in a personal way. Ask yourself, what does success really mean for me? When you think about success as something personal and many-sided, you start to feel freer. You stop feeling pressure to follow someone else's version of success, like getting a certain job, earning a specific salary, or buying something expensive. Instead, you can focus on what makes you feel proud, happy, and strong. Small successes matter too. Success doesn't always have to be big. It can be small, simple, and quiet. Maybe success for you means finishing a book you started. Maybe it's learning to speak English a little better. Or maybe it's making a new friend. These may look like small steps, but each one is a real success. Every small step helps you move forward and become the person you want to be. It's also helpful to remember that success is not a straight path. Sometimes you move forward quickly, and sometimes you feel like you've failed. But often those failures are not failures at all. They are lessons. They help you understand yourself better and build a stronger mindset. The ancient philosophers taught that mistakes are not the end of success, they are part of it. Each setback gives you a chance to learn, grow, and become wiser. So the next time you feel discouraged, try asking yourself, what can I learn from this? Or, how can I use this experience to move forward? Your own idea of success. Now, take a moment to think about your own idea of success. What do you want most in your life? Is it peace of mind? Strong relationships? Knowledge? Freedom? Something else? Remember, there is no right or wrong answer. Your success is your own. When you understand that, you can start making choices that fit who you are, not what others expect from you. In this episode, we will explore more lessons from ancient philosophers that can help you build your own personal idea of success. These lessons will teach you how to change your mindset, stay consistent, understand yourself deeply, and accept life's changes with peace. But for now, just keep thinking about success as something rich, deep, and many-sided, not just one thing. Before we move on, I want to ask you, when have you felt successful in your life, even in a small way? How did that moment feel? What made it special for you? Thinking about these questions will help you connect more deeply with the ideas we will talk about next. Success is not only about big achievements or fame. It's about finding meaning in the journey, in every small step you take. Thank you for listening carefully. Let's continue this journey together. Lesson 1. The power of mindset, stoicism, and resilience. Now that we have started thinking about what success means to us, let's explore one of the most powerful lessons we can learn from ancient philosophers, the power of mindset. This lesson comes from a group of thinkers called the Stoics. Have you ever heard of Stoicism? It is a way of thinking about life that began more than 2,000 years ago, but even today, many people around the world still follow its ideas. Some famous Stoic philosophers were Marcus Aurelius, who was a Roman emperor, and Epictetus, who was a teacher and also a former slave. Both of them taught deep lessons about how to live well, especially when life feels hard or unfair. What Stoicism teaches. One of the main ideas in Stoicism is very simple, but very powerful. Backhand index pointing right, we cannot control everything that happens around us. Sometimes life surprises us. We might lose a job, have an argument with a friend, or face an unexpected problem. These things can make us feel sad, angry, or frustrated. But the Stoics taught something very important. It is not the event itself that makes us unhappy, it is how we react to it. They said we should focus only on what we can control, our own thoughts, feelings, and actions, and learn to accept what we cannot control. This may sound simple, but it takes practice and strength. An example. Let's imagine something. You have prepared very hard for an important exam. You studied every day and felt ready. But on the day of the test, you feel nervous and make a few mistakes. Now, you cannot change what already happened. You have two choices. You could feel angry, sad, and give up. Or, you could decide to learn from your mistakes and prepare better next time. The Stoics would tell you to choose the second option, to focus on what you can do next. That choice builds something very powerful called resilience, the ability to recover from problems and keep going. A personal story. Let me share a small personal story. A few years ago, I started learning a new language. At first, it was very difficult. I made many mistakes, and sometimes I felt like giving up. I thought, maybe I will never get better. But then I remembered a lesson similar to Stoicism. I cannot control how fast I learn, but I can control how much I practice and how I think about it. So I changed my focus. Instead of worrying about being perfect, I decided to practice a little every day and celebrate small progress. Slowly, I improved. Not because I was special or lucky, but because I kept going with the right mindset. That's what Stoicism teaches us. Don't fight the things you cannot change. Focus your energy on what you can do right now. Seeing problems differently. The Stoics also remind us that it's okay to feel sad or upset sometimes. We are human. But they ask us to take a step back and ask, is this problem really as bad as it seems? Often, our worries grow much bigger in our minds than they really are in reality. When we accept that some things are outside our control, we start to feel more peaceful and free inside. How do you react? Now, think about yourself. How do you react when things don't go your way? Do you get angry or stressed? Or do you try to stay calm and find a way forward? It's not easy to always react the right way. Nobody is perfect. But noticing how you respond is the first step to building a stronger mindset. A Stoic practice, negative visualization. Here's one simple but powerful exercise from Stoicism. It's called negative visualization. This means thinking about what could go wrong before it happens, not to make yourself scared, but to prepare your mind. For example, before giving a big presentation, you might imagine that the microphone stops working or you forget a line. Then, you take a moment to prepare yourself mentally to stay calm if it happens. By doing this, you become stronger and less surprised by problems. You are ready for life's challenges with a peaceful heart. Mindset is like a muscle. Remember this. Your mindset is like a muscle. The more you practice controlling your thoughts, staying calm, and accepting what you cannot change, the stronger you become. Resilience grows with practice, one challenge, one lesson, one small victory at a time. So next time life doesn't go the way you expect, try to remember this Stoic idea. You may not be able to control the situation, but you can always control your reaction. And that's where your real power begins. Lesson 1. Closing thoughts. This lesson does not mean ignoring your problems or pretending that everything is fine. It means learning to face life's challenges with courage and calm. In the next parts of this podcast, we'll explore other important lessons that connect with this same idea of mindset, lessons about being consistent and knowing yourself. But for now, remember this. Success is not only about what happens to us, it's about how we respond. The Stoic philosophers remind us that true strength comes from inside, from our own mind. When you train your mind to stay steady, you become stronger than any problem around you. Thank you for listening to this first lesson. This week, try to notice how you react when something difficult happens. Do you feel angry or hopeless? Or can you pause, breathe, and focus on what you can control? If you try to use this Stoic idea to focus on what you can change and accept the rest, you may feel less stressed and more ready to move forward. Lesson 2. Consistency over perfection, Aristotle's golden mean. In our last lesson, we learned about the power of mindset and how the Stoic philosophers taught us to focus on what we can control and to accept what we cannot. Now let's move to another great idea, one that comes from a different ancient philosopher, Aristotle. Aristotle lived more than 2,000 years ago in ancient Greece, and his ideas about balance and moderation are still very helpful today. He believed in something called the golden mean. The golden mean means finding a middle path between two extremes. Imagine a scale or a balance. On one side, there's too much of something. On the other, there's too little. For Aristotle, success and a good life come from staying in the middle, not too much, not too little, but just the right amount. Finding balance. Let's look at an example. Courage is a good quality, but too much courage can become recklessness, acting without thinking. Too little courage can turn into fear, being too afraid to try. The key is to find balance, the right amount of courage to move forward wisely. This same idea of balance is very helpful when we think about learning new skills or working towards success. The trap of perfectionism. Many people get stuck because they want everything to be perfect before they start. This is called perfectionism, and it can quietly stop us from making progress. We might think things like, I need to be perfect before I try. Or, if I make mistakes, it means I've failed. But this kind of thinking is dangerous because it makes us afraid to begin. We wait and wait for the perfect moment, and sometimes that moment never comes. Aristotle's lesson encourages us to do the opposite. Don't wait to be perfect. Focus instead on being consistent, taking small, steady actions again and again. Over time, these small efforts create real success. A simple example. Think about learning to ride a bike. At first, you might fall or lose balance. You might feel embarrassed or frustrated. But if you keep practicing a little every day, you slowly get better. You don't wait until you're perfect to start. You become better through practice. Here's another story. A friend of mine wanted to learn to play the guitar. At the beginning, it was very hard. His fingers hurt, and the sound was terrible. He even said, maybe I'm not talented enough. But instead of quitting, he made a small decision to practice for just 10 minutes every day. At first, the progress was slow. But after a few months, those 10 minutes added up. He could play songs and even sing while playing. He didn't become perfect overnight. His success came from consistency, showing up every day and doing the work. Consistency wins. This story shows that steady effort wins over trying to be perfect right away. It's easy to forget this when we see other people who seem to succeed quickly or easily. But most real success stories come from years of small, regular effort, not sudden perfection. Aristotle's golden mean teaches us to find that balance. Too much pressure can lead to burnout, and too little effort means no progress. The secret is to keep a steady, balanced approach. A question for you. So here's an important question to think about. Backhand index pointing eye, are you waiting to be perfect before you start something new? Backhand index pointing eye, are you holding yourself back because you're afraid of mistakes or afraid to look silly? If the answer is yes, remember Aristotle's lesson. It's better to begin imperfectly than to wait forever. The path to success is not about never failing. It's about learning from your mistakes and keeping a steady pace. Focus on progress, not perfection. Here's one last idea to remember from this lesson. Focus on progress, not perfection. Each time you take a small step forward, no matter how small, you're growing. Every day of effort counts. Success is built slowly through patience, practice, and balance. So take that first step. Be consistent. And let progress, not perfection, be your guide. This process of knowing yourself is not about having all the answers right away. It's about asking the right questions and being open to what you discover. When you understand your own mind, you can make choices that truly match who you are. You stop comparing yourself to others and start walking your own path. Here's something practical you can try this week. Take a few quiet minutes each day to reflect on a simple question like, what made me feel happy today? Or what drained my energy? Write your answers down. Over time, you will start to notice patterns, what inspires you, what matters most. and what kind of person you want to become. That is the beginning of real self-knowledge. Remember, self-knowledge also brings authenticity. When you know yourself, you can live more honestly and confidently. You don't need to pretend to be someone else or follow every trend. You can speak and act from a place of truth. That is what Socrates meant by wisdom, not knowing everything, but knowing yourself and living in alignment with that understanding. So, as you go through your week, try to observe yourself with curiosity, not judgment. Ask questions, listen to your thoughts, and trust your inner voice. Success, in the deepest sense, starts with knowing who you are. Thank you for listening. In our next lesson, we'll explore another powerful idea: how taking action, even small action, can turn knowledge into real change. But for now, remember Socrates' timeless advice: know thyself. Because the better you understand yourself, the clearer your path to success becomes. Lesson 4: the importance of community, Confucius, and relationships. So far, we have talked about 3 big ideas: the power of mindset, the balance between effort and patience, and the importance of knowing yourself. Now, let's move to another important lesson about success: the importance of community. This idea comes from one of the most respected ancient teachers in Asia, Confucius. He lived more than 2,000 years ago in China, and his teachings still influence people all over the world today. Confucius believed that life is not something we do alone. He said that happiness and success come from living in harmony with others, our family, friends, teachers, and community. For Confucius, relationships were at the heart of a good life. He taught that how we treat others and how we behave in society are just as important as our personal achievements. Success is not only about what we get for ourselves, but also about what we give and how we help others. Let's think about this for a moment. Have you ever tried to do something completely on your own? Maybe you tried to study, learn a new skill, or solve a big problem without any help. It can feel difficult and lonely, right? Now think about a time when you worked with others. Maybe a friend helped you, or you were part of a team. Everything probably felt easier and more enjoyable. That is the power of community. One of the main ideas in Confucius's teaching is harmony. Harmony means living in peace and balance with the people around you. It doesn't mean everyone must agree all the time or think the same way. It means showing respect, patience, and kindness, even when there are differences. When people live with harmony, they can cooperate, share ideas, and grow together. This creates an environment where everyone feels supported and valued. Let me share a personal story. When I was learning English, I often felt stuck and unmotivated. Sometimes I studied alone, and it was hard to stay focused. But one day, I joined a small study group with some friends who were also learning English. We met a few times each week to practice speaking, correct each other's mistakes, and share new words we learned. At first, I was nervous because I didn't want to sound silly. But soon I realized that everyone made mistakes, and we were all there to learn. That group made a huge difference. It gave me energy, motivation, and confidence. We learned much faster together than we ever could alone. This experience taught me something that Confucius said long ago: we grow best when we grow together. No matter what your goal is, learning a language, improving your health, or building a career, having people around you who support and encourage you can make the journey easier and more joyful. Community also teaches us empathy, the ability to understand and share how someone else feels. When we listen to others, we learn new perspectives and become more patient and kind. These skills are not just useful for relationships, they also help us in school, at work, and in life. Another lesson from Confucius is about respect. He believed that respect should start in the family, respecting parents, teachers, elders, and also younger people. When we practice respect at home, it spreads to society. Small acts of respect, like listening carefully, being polite, helping others, create trust and harmony around us. And when we give respect, we often receive it back. Sometimes people think success is only about individual effort, but Confucius reminds us that no one succeeds alone. Even the strongest person needs help, guidance, and inspiration from others. When we work together, we can achieve more and build stronger communities. Here's something you can try this week. Think of one person who has helped you in some way, maybe a friend, a teacher, or a family member. Take a few minutes to thank them or do something kind in return. This small action strengthens your connection and spreads positive energy. You can also look for chances to help others, maybe someone who is learning something new or going through a hard time. Your support might mean more to them than you realize. So, as you think about your goals and dreams, remember Confucius's wisdom. Success is not only about personal growth, it's about growing together with others. A strong community makes you stronger. And when you help others rise, you rise too. Thank you for listening to this lesson. In our next episode, we'll explore another timeless idea, how to find purpose and meaning in what you do, inspired by Eastern and Western thinkers alike. But for now, remember this lesson from Confucius. We are not meant to walk alone. When we build harmony with others, we build a better life for ourselves and for everyone around us. Lesson 5. Embracing change and uncertainty, Heraclitus, and the flow of life. So far, we have explored many powerful ideas from ancient philosophers, the power of mindset, the importance of balance, the value of knowing yourself, and the strength that comes from community. Now, we will explore another big idea that affects everyone: change. Change is a part of life that we all experience, but many of us struggle with it. This lesson comes from an ancient Greek philosopher named Heraclitus, who lived more than 2,500 years ago. He is famous for one very simple but deep idea. He said, "You cannot step into the same river twice." What does that mean? Imagine you step into a river. The water touches your feet and flows away. A moment later, if you step in again, it's not the same water anymore. The river has moved on, and so has time. Heraclitus used this image to explain that life is always changing. Just like the river, nothing in life stays exactly the same. People grow, seasons pass, situations shift, everything is always in motion. At first, this idea can feel a little uncomfortable. Most of us like things to stay steady and safe. We often wish we could hold on to good moments forever or stop bad ones from happening. But Heraclitus reminds us that change is natural and necessary. It is part of life's flow. Trying to fight change only causes stress and pain. Instead, he teaches us to accept change and learn to move with it, not against it. Think about your own life for a moment. Have you ever gone through a big change, like moving to a new city, starting a new job, losing something important, or meeting new people? At first, those moments might have felt strange or scary. But over time, maybe they helped you grow, learn something new, or see life from a different point of view. Change can be hard, but it can also be the reason we become stronger, wiser, and more adaptable. Let me share a small story. A few years ago, a close friend of mine lost his job. At first, he was very upset. He felt like everything he worked for had disappeared. But after some time, he started to see the situation differently. He realized that losing that job gave him a chance to think about what he truly wanted. He started learning new skills and eventually found a job he liked even more. What seemed like a terrible change in the beginning became a new opportunity. That's what Heraclitus means when he talks about the flow of life. Change is not your enemy, it is your teacher. When we resist change, we get stuck. But when we accept it, we open ourselves to new experiences and new possibilities. This doesn't mean change is always easy. Sometimes it hurts. Sometimes it takes time to understand why something happened. But if we trust the process and stay flexible, we can find meaning even in difficult moments. Think about nature. The world around us is always changing. The sun rises and sets, the seasons shift, flowers bloom and fade. If nature is always changing, shouldn't we also learn to flow with life's rhythm? One way to practice this mindset is to remind yourself that uncertainty is not always bad. It can bring surprises, growth, and creativity. When you don't know what will happen next, you also have a chance to imagine new paths and discover your own strength. Here's something you can try this week. The next time something changes in your life, maybe your routine, your plans, or your environment, pause for a moment and take a deep breath. Instead of saying, "I don't like this," try asking, "What can I learn from this?" This small shift in thinking can turn fear into curiosity and stress into growth. Heraclitus teaches us that change is the only constant. Nothing lasts forever, not sadness, not success, not even the moment you're in right now. But that's what makes life beautiful. Every moment is unique, every experience is temporary, and every change brings new possibilities. So, as you go through your week, try to flow with life like water in a river. Accept that change will come, and trust yourself to adapt. When you do, you'll find peace even in uncertainty. And that peace will give you the strength to keep learning, growing, and moving forward. Thank you for listening closely to this lesson. In the next and final part of this series, we will bring all these ideas together: mindset, balance, self-knowledge, community, and acceptance, to discover how they can guide us toward a fuller, more meaningful life. But for now, remember the wisdom of Heraclitus. You cannot step into the same river twice. Life is always flowing. Let it carry you forward. White heavy checkmark, polished version, minor flow and clarity improvements. Uncertainty can make us feel worried or stressed because we don't know what will happen next. But Heraclitus' lesson reminds us that change is part of life's flow, and resisting it often causes even more frustration. In today's world, we face rapid changes every day: new technologies, shifting job markets, or global events like the pandemic. These challenges require us to be flexible and open-minded. Those who can accept and embrace change often discover new opportunities and grow stronger, while those who resist may feel stuck. Let me share a personal story about change. A few years ago, I had to leave a job I really liked because the company was closing. At first, I felt lost and worried about what would happen next. But instead of giving up, I decided to see this as a chance to explore new possibilities. I took time to learn new skills and started working on projects I had always wanted to try. This experience taught me that while change can be difficult, it can also open doors to new and unexpected paths. Heraclitus encourages us to be like water in the river, flexible and adaptable. Instead of fighting change, we can learn to move with it. This mindset is especially important in today's fast-moving world. It helps us deal with uncertainty without fear, making us stronger and more resilient. Here's a question to reflect on. How comfortable are you with change? Do you try to avoid it, or do you try to embrace it? Sometimes just being aware of our feelings about change helps us face it better. If you feel uncomfortable, that's okay. Many people do. The key is to take small steps toward accepting change and seeing it as part of growth. Another useful idea is to focus on what you can control during change. You may not control the change itself, but you can control your attitude and your response. For example, when you start a new job, you can't control everything about the workplace. But you can control your effort, your willingness to learn, and your openness to new experiences. Embracing change also means accepting that uncertainty is a natural part of life. No one has a perfect plan or knows exactly what will happen in the future. Instead of trying to control everything, we can learn to be patient and curious. Often, unexpected changes bring lessons and opportunities we never imagined. So as you think about your own path, remember Heraclitus River. Life is always flowing and changing. Success comes when you learn to move with the current, not against it. Change is not the enemy, it is a teacher. Thank you for listening to this important lesson. This week, try to notice moments of change in your life and practice being open to them, even if they feel uncomfortable. Ask yourself, how can I flow with this change instead of fighting it? This simple question can help you grow stronger, calmer, and more confident. White heavy checkmark, bringing it all together, creating your own success philosophy, polished version. Let's start with a quick reminder of what we've learned so far from Stoicism. We discovered the power of mindset, the idea that we should focus on what we can control and accept what we cannot. Life brings challenges and setbacks, but how we respond to them is what truly matters. When things go wrong, a resilient mindset helps us stay calm and move forward instead of getting stuck in frustration or fear. Then we explored Aristotle's golden mean, which taught us about the value of balance and consistency. Many of us struggle with perfectionism, the belief that we must do everything perfectly or not at all. But in reality, success comes from steady, regular effort, not from waiting until everything feels just right. Whether it's learning a language, starting a business, or improving your health, all progress requires patience and practice, not perfection. Next, we learned from Socrates and his famous advice, know thyself. This lesson reminds us that real success begins with self-knowledge, understanding your values, your goals, and your true desires. If you don't know what you want, how can you work toward it? Taking time to reflect on who you are and what matters to you helps you make smarter decisions and live more authentically. We also explored the wisdom of Confucius, who emphasized the power of relationships and community. Success is rarely a solo journey. We all need support from family, friends, mentors, or colleagues. Strong relationships give us encouragement, help us stay focused, and teach us important lessons. At the same time, we must also give back and support others. A strong, caring community makes us all more resilient. Finally, we looked at Heraclitus and his belief that change is constant. Nothing stays the same forever. Our plans may fail, opportunities may come and go, but if we accept that change is natural, we can face uncertainty with more confidence. Being flexible, open-minded, and willing to adapt helps us stay on track even when the path ahead is unclear. Now comes the big question. What can you do with all of this? How can you turn these ideas into something practical for your own life? One suggestion is to create your own success philosophy. This doesn't mean writing a long essay. It can be just a few sentences or even a short list of values and beliefs that guide you. For example, your personal philosophy might include ideas like, I will focus on what I can control. I will take small, consistent steps toward my goals. I will stay true to myself and my values. I will build strong, supportive relationships. I will welcome change and keep growing. You can write this in your journal, on a piece of paper, or even in your phone. Read it whenever you feel lost, stuck, or unsure. It can remind you of what truly matters and help you make better choices. Another useful practice is to set aside time each week for reflection. This doesn't have to take long, even 5 minutes can make a difference. Ask yourself questions like, what went well this week? What did I learn? Where did I feel challenged, and how did I respond? What can I improve next week? These small moments of reflection help you grow and stay connected to your goals. Over time, you'll start to notice patterns and gain deeper self-awareness. And remember, Creating a success philosophy is not about being perfect. It's about staying curious, honest, and open to learning. Life will keep changing, and so will you. Your definition of success may shift as you grow, and that's okay. That's the beauty of the journey. Before we end today, I'd like to leave you with one final reflective question. What kind of person do you want to become? And what small step can you take today to move in that direction? It's not about changing your life overnight. It's about starting with one step, one choice, one thought, and repeating that again and again with patience and purpose. Thank you for joining me on this journey through ancient wisdom and modern success. White heavy check mark final episode, closing message, polished script. We've explored some big ideas, from resilience and balance to self-knowledge, connection, and change. And now, as we come to the end of this episode, I want to leave you with a few final thoughts and hopefully a little extra motivation. First, remember that you don't need to memorize every detail or follow every lesson perfectly. That's not the goal. Success isn't about doing everything at once. It's about doing something, one small thing, with intention and focus. Even choosing just one idea from today's episode and trying it this week can make a real difference. So take a moment and ask yourself, which idea spoke to you the most? Was it the Stoic advice to focus on what you can control? Aristotle's call for balance and steady effort? Socrates' challenge to truly know yourself? Confucius' reminder that success is shared, not solo? Or maybe it was Heraclitus, who taught us that change is not the enemy, it's part of life. Whatever it was, hold on to that lesson. Think about how you can apply it in your everyday life. Maybe it's taking one small step toward a goal you've been afraid to start. Maybe it's letting go of perfection and simply showing up with your best effort. Or maybe it's having a conversation with someone who supports you or someone you want to support in return. Remember, the most important lessons are not the ones we hear, they're the ones we use. Before we finish, I want to leave you with one final question to think about. It's simple, but powerful. What kind of success feels right for you? And what kind of person do you want to become in the process? There's no single right answer. Your answer might change over time as you learn, grow, and experience more of life. But asking this question regularly helps you stay true to yourself. It helps you shape your life with meaning, not just movement. So take this moment to pause, breathe, and reflect. You don't need to rush. Just think, what is your next small step? Whatever it is, I believe in your ability to take it. Not because you have everything figured out or because you need to be perfect, but because you're willing to try. And that truly is the beginning of success. Thank you so much for listening to Fluent English Journey. If this episode helped you think, feel, or reflect in a new way, I encourage you to come back, revisit these lessons, and keep moving forward on your own journey. One step, one thought, one decision at a time. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind to yourself, and never stop learning. Not just English, but about yourself and the world around you.